Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. Listen, have some fun, but don't ever do, believe, or promote anything they say. They're idiots.
Guys, hold up. You should know, this ain't for everybody. Welcome to Savagely Loud. What's happening, people? Guys, welcome back to the show for the people that understand the facts divided by feelings equals failure. I'm Cliff, I'm your host, and I'm joined today and always by my Big Dave. The fucking Viking is back with me. You know how that works. And I've got a special guest with us today, which we will get to her in just a moment, but you know the drill. You want to help me out, get these words out, get these truths out. You can follow me on Instagram at Savagely Loud, because that's where I'm most active. On that page, you're going to find two links. One of those links is to the Savagely Loud podcast page. If you could please follow me there too, that would be greatly appreciated, as that will inevitably be my backup page once they shut me down. The other link you're going to find is a simple link tree. Anywhere you want to see my rants or hear my bullshit, you can find it there, easy peasy. Outside of that, Facebook, X, and Rumble at Savagely Loud, YouTube at Savagely Loud Podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe. And you can email me in at savagelyloud@gmail.com. And last but not least, you don't forget to like, comment, and share the material. Everybody that's ever on these shows, don't forget to follow them, like them, share their material, comment on it. And for the love of everything that you love, don't forget to rate and review the show. That all being said, Big Dave Anderson, the Viking, how we doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you, man?
I got zero complaints. Well, I got a lot of complaints, but I don't do nothing to, get those out of there. So we'll forego all that. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find you?
All right, folks, you can find me over on social media. I'm especially active over on Instagram and Facebook at The Hammer Drops. While you're there, go up to the bio. You find two links. You'll find one that takes you right to the website, thehammerdrops.com. The other one's a link tree that will take you to all the other fantastic places you can see this smiley face and hear my rants. And don't forget to check out the YouTube channel. If you're watching this show today, this show on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, and share it.
All right. And you heard me right. I do have another special guest with us, a very, very special guest, one I find particularly amusing. PettyCrocker 88. How are we doing today?
Oh, I am just living the dream and fighting the nightmares, my friend.
I love it. I never heard the second part of that, the fighting the nightmares. I like that. I'm going to use that. Yeah. Living the dream, fighting the nightmares.
That's a good way to look at it.
So before we get started, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you? Anywhere you want to plug, any products you might have, anything like that, go ahead and spit all that out for everybody.
Well, you can find me over on TikTok at PettyCrocker88. You can find me on Instagram at the same. You can find me on Facebook. It's under Amber. It also has PettyCrocker on it, and I'm on X as well, but that one is Puddin. Puddin.
It's so funny. Like the very first time I saw one of your videos, the very first thing I saw, the sound wasn't on my phone, and I was just doom scrolling, and I saw PettyCrocker, and I was like, oh, what could this be? Like this, I like the name, but Petty, like I'm like, all right, like is Petty good or is this a Petty bad? So I turned the sound on, and I got to tell you. You immediately captivated me because you bring to the table a lot of savagely loud energy. However, it is on the golden light side of things. It's well, let me tell you how something puddin' pop. And I'm like, you psycho motherfuckers. But there's a lot of yelling, a lot of passion. Like you really feel everything you say. And that's what made me truly appreciate you, because you can just tell that you bleed passion for everything that's coming out of your mouth.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I get a lot of criticism, especially here lately. I get called, I get asked, or how much are they paying you? This is just grifter. You can't be really this passionate about something. And it's like, you want to test that theory?
Well, and that's what I appreciated most. And you know what? Because you're also one of those people, like, you have the ability to, like, accept somebody else's content that isn't your content, even if it's like you and I, we've actually put up some contradictory content before, and you come right out and you're like, good, go you, dude, good for you, motherfucker. I'm gonna put out my shit, you put out your shit, we're both gonna do our thing, and then we can still be friends at the end. And that's something that's super rare these days.
Yes.
Well, like there's a lot of points that you make, and I'm like, I can see it from that point of view. I can see where you're coming from. And that's why I appreciate your material, because there's not a lot of stuff that you talk about is really not like mainstream. So that's what I follow you for, is because you give it raw and you give it real, and you give stuff that not a lot of people are talking about or really paying attention to, which therefore makes me like, let me go do a little digging on this one. So I appreciate it.
It's so refreshing that and I'm not saying that most creators aren't like you, but like I wish everyone was, because I feel like I'm the same. Like I have close friends of mine that are liberal creators, like very liberal creators, and I will still like their shit for them. As long as it doesn't go against my core values or it's like really hurting the country, I will still promote their stuff, because there's some validity into it. If you come from it from that angle, then I can see the validity. But the ability to put yourself in the shoes or in a position of somebody else is really what I think defines the separating factor between you and a lot of these other creators.
Yeah, there's a lot of my friends that are, diehard MAGA, and so a lot of the stuff, like I'll get on Instagram and start scrolling, and it's the same thing over and over and over. And so conservative Ant and I, we've talked about that before, because that's kind of like, I look at that and I'm like, I don't want to be, that's why people ask them that question. Are you a grifter? How much are they paying you? Because they're talking, but then in the same breath, they want to turn around and make fun of Dean and Harry and the rest of them. And I'm like, you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's shocking how that works.
It's crazy.
And it's like, and then I asked them too. I'm honest with everybody. Like, I'll ask them, I'm like, are you 100% happy with what your decision is right now? Or are you just placating and you wanting to get those clicks? Because let's be so freaking for real right now. I've heard you say what you don't like, but I don't hear you talking about it.
Right. Yes. I hear you saying what you don't like, but you're not talking about it. Oh my God, that's amazing. Perfect.
So that's why I love like conservative Willie. Love him, love Colton, because he's the same way. Like, we've had that conversation. He's like, if you're going to be about it, talk about it. Don't be scared, because you may help somebody understand something or cause them to want to go do that research and then open their eyes.
Yeah.
But as long as we're trying to save the following.
Yeah. Well, I've been going kind of hard to paint on some of these motherfuckers. Like when the Jake Lang thing happened a couple of weeks ago or whenever that was.
He's a dumbass.
Oh yeah. Well, and the whole thing is like, as soon as it happened, I was like, oh no. Everybody's going to be like, oh my God, we've got to go to war because Jake Lang just got kidnapped or some shit. And I know nobody knows who that guy really is. He's a Jew guy named Edward, and he's a fucking grifter. And I'm like, so I made a video. And the day I made that video, like I posted the video and then I went online and I saw a large grouping of the people that I follow and they follow me make the exact same video. Like, everybody got the memo. This is the video we're making. We're going to war over Jake Lang. And I made I was one of the first people on the internet to actually come out against all of that bullshit and call Jake Lang out for what he was. And these motherfuckers turned me right off. They just shut me off. They had their little meeting, turned me off. They haven't fucking interacted with me since because I said this shit. And now I go back and I'm looking at their pages. And I'm like, where'd you guys go? Oh, retraction videos. Got it.
Bro, like, that's what, like, one thing that gets on my nerves is don't be fucking fake.
Right.
Like, that's all I feel like half of them are. And, like, they'll come at me and they'll be like, you MAGA bootlicking Trump supporter. And I'm like, I want you to go back in the history of my shit and point out one motherfucking video I had on where it said MAGA on it. You won't find one. Because you know what? I don't lick. He's a fucking man. Guess what? He's also a fucking billionaire, just like the rest of the fucking talking heads up there in those hallways. They're all with money comes corruption, greed, envy. The list goes on and on and on.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yes.
they're all. That's why I'd make those videos and I'm like, I follow my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Other than that, I will follow my husband because that is who I am and that's what I am called to do. Other than that, I follow no motherfucking man. Okay?
Yes.
Nice.
I just went along with him because he was better than the fucking other two dipshits.
Yep. Well, it's because the problem here is the American political system has not become, it's not evolved. It's actually regressed. So it was supposed to be this thing where the best person for the job was going to go do the job and do it for a very short term and get the fuck out of there. Whether it was the president, the vice president, any of the cabinet, the Congress, anything. It was not supposed to be a permanent career. And now it became who can afford to buy the position?
Yep.
Well, how do you afford to buy the position? You take all the money from the rich people that want you to do what they want you to do.
Bro, it's who can shove their fucking heads up BB's ass the most.
Oh,
You got that right.
Yes.
Let me tell you. So go ahead. Go ahead, Dave.
I was just gonna say, isn't it ironic that every leader in the world goes to Israel to kiss that fucking wall and to bow down to him? Makes me fucking sick.
Let me tell you, I don't trust Netanyahu.
No.
And then let me tell you, the other day when Trump asked him to be on the board of peace, I was like, we're screwed. We're fucked.
Yep.
We're done.
Yep.
Like, we already know it was going in that direction, but to put him on that, and then they started rolling out the fucking new Gaza shit. I'm just like, bro. Oh, God.
Yeah,
you see what they're doing. You see what they're doing down in Patagonia? Israelis.
Oh yeah, they burned it all down.
Yeah, because the president there has now just recently, earlier this month, has allowed foreigners to buy land in those mountains and cultivate it after fires. And they're down there because IDF, when you retire from being a soldier, Israel will send them out there to map things out. And now miraculously things are burning, and guess who's reaping the benefits by buying up the land?
Yeah, this whole globe is an episode of Big Brother that I really wish I didn't have to fucking watch. Like I really wish I didn't have to watch because it's easy to become nihilistic. It's easy to become like, oh fuck, there's no hope. But then again, if you know anything, you know that's the system. The whole core of the core value of the system we live in is to remove the hope. Because once you remove the hope, you remove everything. You remove identity, you remove pride, you remove ego, you remove fucking willpower, fortitude, grit. I mean, you take it all with you, and that's the whole system,
Yeah, I say we take it back to our forefathers.
Yeah.
Take it all, strip it all the way down to that. All we have that we need to be going by is what the Constitution says and the Bill of Rights. Other than that, why do we have all this fucking fluff and shit? Oh, to keep them going.
Right. Well, and you know what's funny is because, and that's the reason we have the two-party system. There's never going to be a third party. You know, we've got the libertarians, we've got my far middle thing, you know, but that's not a political party. That's just an American political, like American patriotic stance on things. I'm just in the middle.
That's we the people.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's we the people. We're far middle. Like, we're so far away from your bullshit on both sides where we don't even hear it no more. But that's the whole idea behind the two-party system, is because you have to keep the fight rolling. And I used an example in an episode we did a little while ago. It's the whole system of the government is to get that, you know, it's to ratchet itself up. And it does that very easily when you get content creators willfully but ignorantly becoming agents for the system. And that's what we see a lot of. And that's another thing I've been going hard in the paint lately online is we see so many people barking at the other side, air quotes. No matter, everybody always has to be on one of these sides. And each one of the people on those sides, every last one of them, if you ask them, do you want major change in this country? Every last one of the people on both sides is going to say yes, but they're so addicted to their affiliation with a team that they can't bring themselves to the middle to have a conversation. We don't have to have the conversation whether pedophilia is a good thing or not. That's not the conversation. The conversation is how the fuck do we coexist in this country without killing each other first?
Yeah. No, that's 100% true.
That's why I like when I made that video a while back with when all the fraud first started coming out, like I'm looking at both sides of the aisle, but especially at the Democrats and the liberals who are, you know, they're riding or dying for their people regardless. Like there's so many jabs in, it's ridiculous. So when I made that video, I was like, do you understand it's your money too, right? Like, they're not like, oh, here's $500,000 to this person. Oh, can't do that because they're Democratic, so we won't take from them. They're stealing from all of us, you morons. Yeah. You fucking retards. They're stealing out of your pocket. They're stealing out of my pocket, regardless of what our morals are, our values are, our principles are. We're all fucked. We're all their puppet, or we're all their little piggy banks.
Oh, yeah. The American government looks at, I always say the American government looks at the American people the exact same way the Chinese government looks at American people, as an enemy. They see us as the American people. What can we do to the American people to bolster our this, our that, our this, the other thing? China looks at it the same way, the American people. Meaning if they're going to come to war, they're not going to be like, hey, save the black one.
Right.
The brown one's got to go. Is he a Jew? All right, the Catholic can go. He can stay. Don't kill the women. Save some of the children. They're not going to do that. They're going to be like, the American people have to fucking die.
Yep.
That's what I try to tell people, like with the radical Islam and stuff. I'm like, like when they were doing the Free Palestine shit, I'm like,
oh, Jesus.
Do you understand? If you go over there and you're like, I'm trans, woo! Guess what you're going to do? Woo! Off of a rooftop, because they don't give a fuck. You are nothing but dirty, nasty to them. They want you gone.
It's so wild. It's so wild. Or like the Mom Donnie thing. Women got Mom Donnie voted in New York. The women were and they stand to lose the most.
I know.
And they were also like doing these videos like Shahira Allah, bring it on. It's like, I'm just like, I'm over here smacking myself in the head. Like, are you fucking dumb?
That's what I don't get is like these women, the hardcore white liberal women, you know, my body, my choice, you know, blah, 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 the Me Too shit. But you're yelling for Sharia law.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me you have not done your homework with what you're out here choking down on without telling me you haven't.
Kill the patriarchy. What do you think the fucking Sharia law is? You don't get a say in anything. That's the patriarchy.
Bitch, you are to be seen and not heard. Hell, they don't even want to see your ass. So they don't want to see you. They don't want to talk to you.
Now they've got it down to where they say women only need one eye to navigate. So they make women they have women all now with their burqas stitched with over one eye over. And it had a net to begin with. Like, I mean, and these bitches out here are like, yeah, let's get that shit here. Cover me harder, daddy.
But they're taking our rights away.
No kings, except for that one.
Yeah.
And then what they don't
happens.
understand is if there's, I don't know, 270 million men in this country, Sharia law makes 270 million kings immediately.
Oh,
So,
fucking retards.
and the way I look at it is like, okay, so if you're looking at a religion, an honest view of this religion of Islam, men have all to say. Women are not even human. They're like literally just not even human. If you're looking at that, and you can imagine the human element that is greed, of power, of money, of control, and supposedly men want all of that, and your whole life is to face first head on that battle. Why on earth, if you look at the American men and all the American men are like, no, we don't want that shit here. Our women are better than that. Our women are fucking on pedestals way the fuck up here. And if she ain't, you need to find yourself a better fucking woman, or at least change the perspective on the way you look at the one you got. Because every woman I've ever been with has been on a fucking pedestal. They're worth protecting because of all of the things they do for this nation. Their men, their families, the future of this nation is, built largely on the backs of women. And you literally want to just give it all away.
It's mind-blowing, bro. It's so fucking mind-blowing.
How does that, let me ask you this. How does it, because I don't get a lot of conversation time with intelligent in the social media sphere women. How does that make you feel from just a gender standpoint? Like, I'm a woman, I'm going to be lumped into all of this. What is the thought of Sharia law taking over do to you on an honest level?
It scares the shit out of me. I won't do well. I can tell you that. I won't last very long, but so
I won't do well. Awesome.
I don't know how to shut up and not be seen and not heard, so I'm good. I fears for myself, for my daughters. We as women, like you said, we are nurturers. We provide life. We help carry on our bloodline in the population, and we do a lot of amazing things. And what I can't stand is this boss babe shit that's been just so shoved down women's throats. But I fear for the female race in this world, because if Sharia law comes in and takes over, we'll be done for, because it will just be them. We won't, they're not gonna, they'll end us. There's no way we're going to be able to carry on our legacies and our names, and we'll be done for. I mean, if you think about it, if they push Sharia law and everything, of course they're going to wipe out all of us Western women first, because that's their bloodline source to carry on, Mm-hmm. So they're going to try to end it right then and there. So why wouldn't we be the first ones on the chopping block?
See, and what I love about this conversation right now is the fact that, it's real easy. It's real easy for men, okay, across the fucking nation, across the globe even, especially here at home. But it's real easy for men to talk all this shit about women. Like, I talk some shit like liberal white women are the fucking biggest problem we got. Above the black issue, the brown issue, the yellow issue, the gender issue, the religious issue, it is fucking liberal white women destroying this fucking place. But I understand how it can become easy to grow a hatred and just want to paint all women with that hatred. But it's a sobering it's a sobering moment when you get to have a conversation with a woman that has actually processed the emotions of what that entails and this bleak future. So that's why I always tell men, like, especially when like the totally, like, the ones that come across as like totally anti-woman, like, go talk to some. Like, you really need to talk to some, not your wife or your girlfriend. Like, go out and talk to somebody, some of these women, and actually have the conversation. And if you can if you can stand or sit in front of that woman as she tells you how she truly feels from her emotional core about life ending for her and everyone like her and her current offspring, which are daughters, and her future potential, if you can sit in front of that woman and not be like, we need to rethink some things, you're a fucking heartless animal and you should be buried under the prison. You know?
I mean, if you're a true, genuine, like, man's man, and that's you guys are becoming very rare breeds in today's climate too. So, but I mean, what would be your first thought as for the Sharia law taking over? What would you think they would do first? Wouldn't you think they would go after their bloodline source to end?
They are going to go after white women. That's the ones they're going to go after, and they're going to go after the youngest ones first. And then they're going to make the old ones watch, because they like to do that shit. They don't want to tell you that in the news, but when you actually do real research, you find out that rape is a team sport. It's a spectator sport in Islam. So they're going to make a giant spectacle out of all of our daughters, then all of our sisters, then all of our wives, and then all of our mothers and all of our grandmothers. And it's going to go in about that systematic order. And and the ones that don't want to watch, they're just going to kill. And the ones that do anything to fight against anything, they'll just get it too.
They'll do it to enrage the men. They'll do it to enrage the men and to entice you to fight.
Well, they don't, and that's another thing that Americans especially don't understand, is that these people fucking hate us. They fucking hate us from a core level. Like, you can't unprogram that now. Like, there's a lot of indoctrination, a lot of programming that all Americans suffer throughout our entire lives. We could all, as Americans, look at each other dead in the eye and say our entire lives have been a fucking lie, and we would not be lying. But man, you can still unprogram a lot of that. You can still unlearn a lot of that and usher in this hope. You can't do it with those people. Those people cannot be repaired. They cannot be fixed. They cannot be helped or healed. They have to just be either segregated, separated, or gotten the fuck rid of all the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, sorry, go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say, you can go on and see all these videos that are out there right now where I saw one where there's a white reporter, over in Islam, and the kids are like, there's all these kids and the kids throwing rocks at her.
I saw that one.
And then up in the Netherlands, where the guy was just walking his dog, and all of a sudden he gets fucking jumped. That's what's going to happen here if we allow that to come here. And unfortunately, white liberal women and the liberals in general are just allowing it and ushering it in without even remotely doing any research or any homework on this.
They need to be studied. I swear they need to be studied. Because if you really want to know what they're like, why don't you go sit down and talk to somebody who has been face to face with those motherfuckers?
Yeah.
You know what?
I live with one. So, like, my husband was grunt in the Marine Corps. He was, heavy machine gunner. He's had his fair share, I'll say.
Bad motherfucker.
I'm not going to go into detail, but I know they'll never do it. They'll never listen because like I said, they've had, all these boosters and they keep drinking the Kool-Aid and they'll never listen to it. But that's why I have that feeling that I have, because, my husband has shared things with me that he doesn't tell me everything. I don't want to know everything, but what he has shared, that's pure evil.
That's pure evil. 100%.
I've talked to
evil.
I've talked to both my brothers who have served in both Gulf Wars, and just the stories I've heard from them. It's just, I was just blown away. And let's just, for argument's sake, just say they don't wipe out all the women here in America. What they will use you as is a human shield. They'll use your daughter as a human shield. They'll use your grandmother as a human shield. That's what they do. They're not above using their own children as human shields. So what makes you think that you're any different?
Oh yeah, they're the way they use women and children over there is like the way you use a paper cup to get some water and throw it away.
Yeah, they'll literally
Nothing.
strap a bomb to them.
They want more, they'll go make more. Ain't nothing.
They're overpopulating by the dozens, and Islam's like having so many fucking children for a reason, while Americans we don't see Americans having many kids anymore, and Islam's having 8 kids per family.
That's where that boss babe shit comes in, why our population has been coming to a screeching halt, because you got you got these girls on, doing their shit on social media and, making all these millions, and, I'm 24, I ain't getting married. Just, it's sickening.
And also too is American value, like we've all grown up with a taste for the finer things, if you know what I mean. Like
sure.
from day one, you're told you should like the silver fork, not the plastic fork. You should like the fucking Lamborghini, not the Ford. You want the yacht, not the boat. You want the mansion, not the house. You want the condo, not the apartment. We're always taught all the way through our lives that we need to have all this expensive shit. And that's where the fucking that's a large part of where the dividing line is, because all these people in the Muslim community and many other communities for that matter, they don't mind not having all of that shit so that they can have a large family. They're still in tune with the way nature works. We're in tune with the way greed works. We can't have kids. Like, I literally have a lot of friends who have refused to have kids because they want millions of dollars. They want the house on Miami Beach. They want all that shit. And it's unfucking necessary. Is it great? Is it nice? Is it wonderful to have? Does it make you feel good? Sure. But man, when you're getting bred out of existence, something's got to give at one point or another.
Bro, that newness is only going to last for so long. I've never met a successful, like, multi-millionaire person who has everything and they're happy.
No, not one. And I know a lot of them.
Same. And they'll tell you, I've got all this shit, feel empty.
Yeah.
Because I've wasted my whole life chasing this shit. Now that I've got it, it's just sitting there.
Yep. I follow a lot of entrepreneurs, like high-level entrepreneurs. I have for years because of my businesses and whatnot. And I like thinkers, and a lot of entrepreneurs are independent thinkers. Most of them are, in fact. And Alex Hormozy said once something that really stuck with me, and it has to do with just this actual point that we're making here. He said, you're taught that you have to grow up and get this job, do this job, make this money so that you can have the house and the girl and the car and all that stuff. But you're not taught you're not supposed to need that. You're just taught that that's the way it's supposed to work. And he's like, and I see so many people come into my whatever he said, class or whatever. They'll come into my world essentially, and they'll have all that stuff already. How do you feel about your wife? Oh, it's amazing. Our relationship is amazing. This and that. How do you feel about your relationship with your kids? It's great. How do you like your house? Yeah, it's fine. I have zero complaints. Then why the fuck are you doing this? Because this is going to take every bit of fucking time that you need to spend with all of that to do this, to make this big enough to get that once it leaves. So why are you doing this? And I just thought that was an incredibly, poignant statement. Was we often we don't realize what we have. Like, I'm one of these anomalies, just as you are. You appreciate the ever living shit out of your husband. I've heard you say it before. I appreciate the ever living shit out of my wife, and there ain't never a minute of a single day that goes by that I don't access that in my brain very consciously to take a second to appreciate her. But there's so many people out here that they lose sight of the great relationship they have, the kids, the job, the everything. They lose sight of it because nothing ever is good enough in American culture.
Right. Right. And that's where, and I don't know how either one of you are, but to me, that's where like my root in my faith, I was raised, by my dad teaching, Bible. The man is the head of the household. You have the wife who is supposed to care for the children and care for the home, be there for the husband, appreciate the husband because the husband takes on a lot on his shoulders to be able to protect and carry his family and make his family successful. And I'm not saying that it's the Bible alone, but a lot of where we have come from in our society was based on those kind of morals and values and belief. The man, and what gets me is these women are like, I'm not putting no man on a pedestal. Why not? That man takes on a lot. I mean, I know nowadays, men aren't hardly men anymore. You guys are rare breeds, but we have sown that out of our society over the centuries, over the years in our country, and it's sad because we when we used to stand on that kind of stuff and letting the man be a man and be a protector and a provider, we were successful, so to speak. But now it's, you know, what is a man? What is a woman? What, there's no like validity to that to anyone anymore.
Right.
It's sad.
Yeah, it's very sad. And here's the thing. I mean, it's just the natural order of things. Like, so Gary Vaynerchuk, I'm sure everybody's familiar with him, but he says in one of his seminars or whatever, he was saying, again, entrepreneur stuff, but he said, most people's mistake in entrepreneurship is they have 10 different things and they're really good at 2 of those and really bad at 8 of those. So they try to bring up the other 8 to match the 2, when what they should be doing is just focusing hardcore on their strengths. Well, that's why we're successful as a people when we operate by the natural order of things. There's not many species in the animal kingdom that the woman gets pregnant, spits out the baby, and then the male raises it and she disappears, like to go, we don't see it. She nurtures, she takes care of it. And that's, in the human aspect too, is that's where the families that I didn't come from a great household, like not even a good one. But all the ones that I grew up knowing that were the most loving households, not in a weird way, but in the most loving households, they always operated like that. Dad went out and fought the war to pay for shit. And mom sat at home, and mom, I don't mean sat at home, but mom was at home fighting the war to keep it running. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I agree with you.
Well, I know in my family when I was growing up, like, obviously a different breed, but like both my parents worked, but when my mom came home from work, it was like, I'm going to make some dinner, make sure the kids, the house chores were done, all that stuff, and, then my dad would come home. But I mean, you're right. I mean, we don't have that in today's society anymore. It's gone.
I get a lot of grief for that too, is, like people get to my comment section and, just sit there and dog on me because what they see online, you're only getting a snippet into my life. I don't sit out here and broadcast everything I fucking do because it's none of your damn business, first and foremost. But you don't see me getting up, going and doing my corporate job, working on working in a sensitive area, doing my job, coming home, switching that off, and then turning the mom on, having to deal with 2 teenage daughters who want to rip each other's hair out every 5 damn minutes, getting the house clean, making sure checking on my husband. How was your day? Because guess what? He just got home from working his job. And then now it's time to do dinner. Okay, let's find at least 5 minutes so we can sit and talk at it. Like laundry, dishes, everything, dude. And people just, they don't realize that you can do that. And like, that's what I want to say. I try to teach my daughters that, like, you can be a successful woman and also be a devoted mother and wife. You can do both. You can do both things. It takes this and this, the willpower to do it, because you want to raise the next generation to be success. Don't be leeches. To feed in, put something into this world. Do something good in this world and not just sit here and suck it dry. And that's like when I see these people get online and these liberal white women, it just, they want to bitch, moan, and complain about everything. And it's just like, you're weak.
Yeah.
You're weak, man. Like, it takes a strong-willed freaking woman to do what we do and still not get online and say, sing my praises. No, we go the fuck to bed and we get up and do it the next day in the morning. Right. And somehow I find somewhere in between to get online and yell at my phone.
But that's,
because y'all piss me off.
It's like we had chatted that one day. It's like, it's good for us to get on our phone and yell at people, though, because we get angry, something makes us mad, and then we're like, all right, now I can talk about that topic. Like, I'm usually a pretty happy-go-lucky dude. I need to go for a drive so somebody pisses me off so I can make better content. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, no, go for it.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's an incredible dynamic to try to balance, and especially when you're talking about respect for women on a societal level, because of the boss bitch thing, the boss babe thing. You guys have lost what you really were good at. I mean, I feel like we live in a society where men make the rules of business, women make the rules of society. And it hasn't, that split hasn't gone well. Men operate very well in business, but women don't really operate well when they're in a rule-making structure for society, because everything is emotion. And while that is a good thing, that emotion, that nurturing spirit that women have in them is precisely what keeps each individual family afloat. Because no matter what happens in that family, as long as we got mom, everything's going to be okay. Because I can go to mom and she can rub my head and tell me everything will be okay. And I believe her because she has made it okay my whole life. But now with this boss bitch thing, they've taken that away. And they've now put women into this atmosphere of control where they're not used to the control aspect of that, having to be logical. Men are maybe oftentimes too logical, not to blow us, but it might even be a detriment, but we're too logical and like, that doesn't make any sense. Well, we need to learn something from mom and go with our guts sometimes, go with our hearts sometimes. And where women need to like, okay, just put your heart away, go with your brain this time. It was that balance that we needed, that we lost because of what you said, this whole boss babe thing.
Well, that too. I mean, like, let's be so freaking for real. If war was to pop off, there ain't not one of these fucking women that are going to be grabbing a damn AR or whatever and running to the front line to do shit.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Run up and stop it. Stop.
Oh,
no, guess what I'm going to be doing? You got this, babe. I believe in you. I will be right here. I will make sure everything's good right here. Call me if you need me. I'll bring you whatever you need, and then I'll go back home. You got this.
Yep.
That's what my wife says. She openly tells me, she's like, if apocalypse comes, kill me first, because I'm gonna weigh you down. I'm like, oh no. I need you to bring me back up. So you got to stick around, babe. I'm gonna need you for a long time.
I guess I must be lucky because with my wife, give her a gun and she's gonna go right at it. Right side by side.
Well, I was gonna say that too, Dave. Like, don't get me wrong. If push came to shove, I will be right there up my husband's ass, ready to get his six all day long. That's why I have done my due diligence to learn how to be able to be that for my husband if it ever came down to that, because I don't want to be a dead weight. I want to be able to protect my kids and help my husband if God forbid it ever came down to that point.
Right.
There is no bitch in my blood. I will step the fuck up to it. Like, you want to see me get savage and feral? Fuck with my kids. Like, I can be soft. I can be gentle. I can be, yes, babe, whatever you need, babe, blah, 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 blah. But there will come to a point. You fuck with my kids, I don't give a rat's ass who the fuck you are. I will claw I will be a feral raccoon out of a trash can on you.
Right. Yeah, that's what I always tell people. You get the me that you earn. I can be whatever you want me to be. You have to earn it. If you want me to be like, oh my God, that's so amazing, we have to go right now. You can have that, but you have to earn it. Otherwise, you're going to get the opposite end of the spectrum, which is what you see in my content a lot, is just the angry yeller, you know?
I mean, when people say that, why are you always yelling? I'm just letting you know where I stand. I ain't trying to sugarcoat it. I ain't going to be soft with it, because quite frankly, you ain't soft with your shit. And you think I have to sit here and listen to it and not come back and be like, listen here, bitch. I ain't, like, I tell this to people all the time. I ain't the one. Yeah. I am not the one. I love Jesus, but I am not a pushover.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Right. Well, there's people like, why are you always, I love when they come at me, why are you always yelling? You're so loud. Oh my God. If you get your message across, if you'd stop yelling, like, you realize that you stumbled on a page called Savagely Loud, right? Like, and you're wondering why I'm yelling. Here's the other thing. It's pattern interruption. I tried, and I'm sure you did too. At a certain point, you were trying to be nice and calm and approach the situation as though you're dealing with another intellectual individual capable of having a rational conversation. And what did you find out? Nobody heard you. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody's rational. But when you started yelling, people started listening.
You're hurting my feelings. Look, I tell them all the time. Keep scrolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
keep
pretty
working
easy.
that finger. It's your phone. I ain't sitting there holding it hostage and holding the gun to your head to watch the stupid shit. Keep scrolling if you don't want to see my face or hear my voice.
Right. Block me. Even better.
I've had people post on my stuff, like, just some random comments where, like, basically just something stupid. And like, well, you're just getting this for clicks. I'm like, well, obviously it worked on you. You just commented my shit.
I've said that to people too. I'm like, well, obviously it worked because here you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they comment again. They're like, well, we know why you're doing this. I'm like, yeah, again, you just proved my point.
Keep doing it, buddy. Every time you click on it.
You click like, you comment, and you watch it over and over and over again. That's just helping me out. So thank you. And then they get to the point where when I keep doing that, then they'll just block me. They're just like, I'm not dealing with this guy anymore.
Yeah, I like the ones that come at me and they try to lawyer me, like, right? They think I'm some stupid fucking fat nobody from nowhere with no brain, and they try to lawyer me, and then I just blow 1,000 holes into their fucking bullshit in the first comment, and then if they don't come back to me real quick, I'll start harassing them. Now, most of the time, 97% of the time, I leave these motherfuckers go. Like, if the most they'll get out of me when they try to chastise me or some shit, like, you're such a piece of shit, this and that. Good, tell all your friends. That's what I type. Good, tell all your friends. And then, but every now and then, one will crawl under my skin, and it's just like, oh, it's so go time, and you're it, and I'm the one.
It depends on the day. It depends on what the day has dealt.
I dropped my coffee this morning. You're fucked.
You know what?
For me, they always try to go after, Cliff, you and I had this talk before. They always try to go after my eye condition, and they're like, oh, what are you looking at me? And I just hop in there and be like, really? That's all you got? Not like I haven't heard that tens of thousands of fucking times.
Googly-eyed
so
monster.
Ooh, good one. Good one.
Wow, you're fucking original. I'm like, and then I just tell them, I'm like, I'm not even going to bother trying to engage somebody like you that's not very intelligent. That's all you can come up with. I'm like, come at me with something a little bit harder next time.
The other ones I can't stand is the ones that get into your comment section and they're like, well, if you like whatever you're talking about, well, if you cared about this, then you would talk about this. And it's like, bitch, you got your own platform. Get on it and talk about it. Why do I have to be your spokesperson?
Every day I get thousands of people telling me I need to talk about the Jews.
Yes.
If I talk about black people, you're not talking about the Jews. If I talk about women, you're not talking about the Jews. If I talk about politics, you're not talking about the Jews. Like, Jesus. Everybody's talking about the Jews. You need another motherfucker to talk. You realize while everybody's talking about the Jews, there's a whole list of other problems we still have happening that nobody's now talking about, and they're getting worse.
Well, there's a reason for it.
I still want the list.
Good luck.
God, that is
Good
always
luck.
I know,
and that's funny.
Happen.
And like some of the stuff I post, like it's nothing political, nothing like I can make a post about absolutely zero to do with politics. And they come at me like, oh, you're a MAGA bootlicking supporter, this and that, and release the list. And it's like, I hop in there, I'm like, where in any part of this fucking post, this video, did I even talk politics?
Yeah.
No.
Well, they need to categorize you.
So there's the box. You got to go into this box. So like the other day, I made that funny one where I was talking about my vibrating plate and the frequency of my remote and shit. And I had motherfuckers in there talking about that. What about the Jews? Like, what about them? They're in everything. Guess what? They run this whole motherfucking thing. Okay, we know this.
Well, let's be. I think it's more the women, the Jewish women run everything because all the men are, studying that fucking Torah.
The way the way I look at it is, you know what? If you work at a corporation and everybody that owns that corporation doesn't like you, they'll get rid of you. Mm-hmm. You have to decide whether you like your position at that corporation as to how far you're going to push on that button. Personally, the way I see it is it's kind of like we've been tax slaves for the Jews since 1948, especially. We could go back to 1913-14 area very easily, but let's call it 1948 because that's when they bought America. The problem here is that if we're not going to be Jewish tax slaves, right? Or tax slaves for the Jewish people, we're going to be murdered by the Muslims because I just don't see Christianity making this giant comeback, because Christians always want to turn the other cheek. Like that's part of like kind of what leads me away from it. Like, it's like when are you going to stop rolling over and turning the other fucking cheek while they're stabbing you in the spine? You have to do something about this, So
I get that all the time because, I am a Christian and everything. And people come at me all the time and they're like, you're not really a Christian because you get on here and I'll talk back. I'll stand 10 toes down for whatever the hell I'm talking about. Like, you understand that being a Christian, like it does talk about turning the other cheek, loving thy neighbor, all that stuff. But it also teaches in the Bible that you're not to not be a pushover. Like you've got to be able to stand firm against the evil of the world and stand up and look at these people in the face and say, I will stand right here and I will die for what I believe in. Mm-hmm. I am not going to run away from you because if I do, we're doomed.
Yeah.
So like, and people, like I said, they come at me all the time and they want to judge me in my comments and stuff. And I'm like, look, just because I'm not out here welling at the wall like the rest of you are, making your charity and your gestures be known to man, it also preaches against that in the Bible too. It says, go into the quiet place and seek him. Do the Lord's work away from the men's eyes, away from the public. That's when you actually make a difference. These people out here being these false prophets and these Pharisees in the street, look at me, I'm saving everyone.
You, you know how many times people have told me that, you know, they come at me and they're like, that's not very Christian of you. And I just kind of laugh at them. And I'm like, well, that's because I'm not Christian.
Yeah.
Just like, huh?
I have very many, a lot of my friends, like I have friends that are, I hope I don't butcher this, but they follow like the Viking.
Norse pagan. That's
Norse
me.
paganism.
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
Norse pagan.
Best fucking people you'll ever meet.
Yep.
Ever.
Mhm.
They are loyal to the freaking end. They are good freaking people. And just because we're on different beliefs does not mean that I'm going to sit here and negate you as a human being. Because guess what? That's where love thy neighbor comes in. I'm not going to sit here and browbeat you over the head with the Bible, because that's not how it works.
Right.
But me being a good person and showing you love and kindness and you know, if you wronged me, you know, depends on how you wronged me.
Right.
I will forgive you.
Right.
You know, that's when the turning the other cheek comes in. Like, people misconstrued things in the Bible, and they don't do their proper studies to really get what verses go with whatever they're talking about. You can't just pick and choose, because
Right.
that you don't know the full context. But anyways, so, and I have friends that are atheists. I have friends Mormon, Catholic, you know, but I don't look at them based on their beliefs. It's them as a human being. There are some amazing people out here in this world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, everybody thinks they need to be shoved into a box, whether it's religious, politics, or whatever. You don't.
Well, and here's the other thing too, is, you know, with the religion thing, is we don't have to live up to these historical wars between religions. Like, I transferred. Okay. So when it comes to Christianity, I've never pulled punches. I've never hidden the fact that I have wrestled with God because of my existence growing up. I mean, my dad just beat the fuck out of me for everything, every day. I couldn't go to school. He would beat me unconscious. And that was like the life I felt like God gave me, you know, and I've wrestled with God and stuff. And I eventually ended up accepting the notion of a deity, humbling myself and giving thanks every day, and, you know, morning prayers and all this other stuff, which I do still. But what has made me kind of move away from Christianity to the Norse paganism thing is because my ideals just, they align better with paganism. But when I have the conversation with Christian friends of mine, they're like, yeah, but aren't we you're supposed to hate me because we fucked you up. I'm like, that was like thousands of years ago. Like, that's not a war for me. You and I went to school together. You went to bat for me when somebody hit me in the back of the fucking head. I don't give a fuck what you believe in. You're loyal. I'm loyal. That's the way this works. And the other thing about paganism and Christianity too is, you know, paganism has just the core values I like. I like respecting and honoring women, you know, and I like, you know, respecting, honoring nature, traditions, history, the gods, you know, all this other thing. And I really like the idea of a pantheon of gods where women were actually involved in the decision-making process instead, you know, until it became this one-man entity thing. But I also have zero issues putting myself in a position like you did earlier of somebody else. Like, I can absolutely 100% see why Jesus is the way for so many fucking people. I absolutely 100% see why the teachings of the Bible touch people to their fucking innermost primal core. I understand that. And because I can understand that, I'm not going to hate it. I'm going to actually, if anything, I'm going to respect the person that believes in that more. I have an issue respecting Muslims. You believe in a book that is anti-humanity. You believe in an entire social and religious doctrine that is anti-everything I've ever loved in my entire fucking life. We're not going to get along. But I can get along with Hindi. I can get along with with the Stannies, all the Stans, that aren't Muslim. I can get along with fucking everybody. I can get along with everybody as long as you don't believe that I'm supposed to be born to be your slave or born to be your victim.
Right.
Exactly.
That was very well put.
I actually put up a video about, with all this Muslim stuff that's going on, me personally being Norse pagan, I've been Norse pagan for a while now, but I even said in my video, I will stand side by side with my Christian brothers and sisters in this war against Muslims. And I stand by that, just like many other Norse pagans as well, because we know if Islam did take over, we're going to get wiped out too.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Well, and here's the thing. Where I sit, I don't put any religion, I don't put any ideology or any theocracy or theology in ahead of humanity. When it comes down to it, are you fucking American? Do you believe in the American value? Do you hold in your heart the willingness to go to war for your neighbor?
Exactly.
We're on the same team then. I don't give a fuck what you believe in.
Exactly. Because when it all boils down to that point, we're going to have to put our differences aside in order to, besides the ones that are just out here riding, so hard for them, but majority of the rest of America, we're going to have to put our differences aside and be able to stand there shoulder to shoulder to protect our country. And I don't get why people want to hate on this country so hard. They hate on our military so hard. And it's like, and even though our veterans and active duty and stuff, they try to educate people of, look, this is what we're fighting against. This is what we're trying to keep at bay from coming into our country. And they just get spit on. And it's just like, where in the hell did we lose the pride for our nation, for who we are as a country, as how we stepped away from the king-like ruling to be able to just live freely? And now you're wanting to, you're spitting on that freedom to be yet again governed and dictated. I don't for the life of me understand that. And that's why I get so passionate in my videos, is like, hello, you need to wake the fuck up and realize if you do not stand up and protect our country, we are going to lose it, and you are not going to like what the fuck we turn into. Right. Because you will no longer fucking exist. Yeah. Because guess what? You are in the Western civilization that they hate. Yep. But you want to fucking give it to them on a silver damn platter. Like the amount of people and the amount of Muslims that are getting into government positions across our country.
Terrifying.
Very.
We're literally, like I said, handing it to them on a silver fucking platter, saying, here's the keys to my house.
Yeah.
Have at it.
Well, and and I try to like, I'll sit and break down, try to break down what it is that makes people want to destroy this place. And it's like every angle you look at, whether it's immigration from the north, from the south, from the east, from the west, it's religion, it's race, it's color, it's like, what the fuck makes people all want to seemingly destroy this place? And I think I generally tend to come back to the education system. It treated me like shit. It treated me like shit my whole life. But when you look at it, I mean, that's the precursor. Like, they turned this country into a dual income household necessity where mom and dad both have to work to enable to afford to live here. And that's just live. That's not thrive. That's just live, feed the kids. Both parents have to work. So then we now have put, as parents, our faith and our trust and our responsibility in the teachers to raise our kids. And a lot of the parents, a lot of the parents in modern America don't even know their children. Like they don't know their children.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that is a huge problem.
So the girls growing up all through life, their teachers, some of them liked me, some of them didn't because I was all up in their business. I always have been that. What are you teaching my kids?
Right.
You know, I lay down boundaries like you will not be teaching this ideology, this woke bullshit. I will go to the schools. I've been known to go to the school boards and ask them, what's the curriculum? I want to know.
Yeah.
But thankfully, living, where I grew up in Tennessee, it's never really been an issue there in Tennessee because we're majority like-minded people.
Yeah. The balls stick together.
For sure. Even though we suck at football most of the time. That's what kills me is like you said that parents have become so hands off, like the screen time shit. I didn't do that with my kids. They were allotted a amount of time and then it was shut off. Like I would shut the internet off to it. The girls still have to turn one's about to graduate high school and be an adult, and she's going to college already this fall and everything. But guess what? We still make her put her phone in the hallway outside of her bedroom at night. Like but the other thing kills me is these parents like, I don't know what happened to Timmy. You motherfucker, you. You put little Timmy in front of an iPad for 8 hours out of the fucking day and let Miss Rachel teach his ass.
Yep.
And this is what you get.
Well, and I think another problem with schools is the way they teach things now. It makes it harder for the older generation, the parents, to be able to even help them with their homework.
That's part of the process. That's part of the system. Separate the parents from the kids by separating the current curriculum from the olden day curriculum. That's why 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 4 anymore.
Yeah, so they can have to depend on their teachers to be able to be educated.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even teach them everything that we've learned over all that stuff's gone.
No. Yeah, like there's some things like what our oldest, she has, U.S. history and stuff. And we ask her all the time, what are they teaching in U.S. history now? Mm-hmm. Is it the same as, so they don't learn about 9/11 anymore. It's like it's the hot topics, so to speak, what's major, like COVID and shit. And I'm like, okay, what are they telling you about COVID? Right. About the pandemic? But yet again, as parents, we fill in the gaps. We give the facts or say, okay, well, there's a little bit of truth to that, but this is the whole full fucking context of what really happened or whatever. And, we teach our kids too of don't depend on the government. All government is corrupt. They're all just a bunch of money hungry assholes that won't ever fucking die because they ferment themselves at night. Mm-hmm. Nancy Pelosi. Maxine Waters.
Yeah. How old can you be and still be walking? Jesus.
Oh, it's like Tales of the Crypt, that bitch. But, like you said, it's all, they want to try to divide the family nucleus because they want the kids to have to depend on what they're learning and stuff. And parents are too damn busy and consumed with life in general. I won't say all parents are just, terrible and push their kids off and stuff. But you still, as a parent, I get it. You're busy, work, providing, trying to keep your kids and house afloat. But if I could give anybody advice, is still find that time somewhere in your day. Find that time to still connect with your kids because they are our future fucking generation.
Right.
We have got to train our kids up and the same morals, values, and principles of God, family, country, or just the pride in our country. What men and women in our country do to keep it moving, to keep it functioning, to keep it protected. Like, it's not these talking fucking heads you see on Fox News and CNN and all that shit. They're the distraction. That is all theater. It's been written out for fucking years. There's been a game, there's been a plan in place since the fucking 40s to push us where we are here now.
Oh yeah. Well, and people don't understand.
Even before the 40s, but still.
People don't understand, and I think that you brought up a really good point there. People don't understand how that system works. See, most people, to the tune of, I would even say it's close enough to all that we can just call all people, all normal people, we can't wrap our heads around the idea of devoting our life's work to something that we're not going to see the fruits of, right? So we don't have it in us to, especially the younger generations, we don't have it in us to be able to devote all of our will, all of our time, all of our heart, all of our energy, all of our mentality to this one cause that we know won't even work until 50 years after our death. But these people do. And that's one of those things. It's like they just don't think like us do. Normal people look at the system and they're like, it's fucking broken. No, it's not. It's perfect. It's exactly the way they need it to be because they don't think like us. They have zero problems devoting a 75-year lifespan to something that will not come to fruition for another 75 years after that. They don't understand it. For some reason, we just can't get it through our thick American heads that they're all out to get us.
It boils down to number one, me oh my. That's all they care about. They cannot see past their own fucking noses. It's what can they get and what can they control. And it's the good little people who say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. Always. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, when I say I love my country, that does not mean I don't know where people pull out that I'm over here just jumping on Trump every 5 seconds when I say I love my fucking country. Why are we automatically correlating it to a man? I'm talking about we, the American people who busted our asses to build a society that we have, that we still try to innovate and to do better and to make us flourish. But you want to just sit here and pander to the man and listen to all the promises that they never fucking deliver on. But guess what? If you put your blood, sweat, and tears into something, you can make something happen. Quit depending on these assholes to do shit. You want to save your country, you're going to have to stand up and say, enough is enough. I am fucking over this shit. We don't really technically have to pay taxes.
Yeah.
If you really want to learn, go dig into it. It's voluntary based.
Yep.
But people don't see that because they're afraid of the IRS. Fuck the IRS.
Right. Yep.
Bunch of Jews.
Yeah, that's the whole idea is, the big thing I think that to add to that is a big problem where people do want to help, right? So, and I get them all the time, and I'm sure you do too. Get them all the time. I want to help, but I just don't know where to start. Where do I begin? What do I do? Start at home. Make sure your fucking house is in order. Make sure you're not 370 fucking pounds overweight. And make sure you're not eating trash that they make you eat so that you can maintain a sickness that they then have to treat in the hospital with their fucking prescription medications. Make sure you're not financially dependent on the government to give you your cheese every month. Make sure your house the way I tell people is if you don't know where to start with your own life. Just take a 30,000 foot view of your own life. And if you were any normal average person that was not destitute, not poor, but not rich, would you want to live that life? If your first reaction is fuck no, start there.
Yep. Yep. I mean, I can't sit out here and tell everybody what the fuck to do if I ain't doing it in my own damn house. That's why I get online and I say, hey, Trump, why don't we fucking worry about what's in our own fucking backyard instead of trying fixing the whole fucking world? Because guess what? We try to take on the world and we're falling apart here. We ain't gonna be successful. We're just gonna leave our fucking front door wide the fuck open and be like, we're too damn distracted because we got some bullshit going on here and nobody's gonna fix it. Here we are.
Well, you're not allowed to say that either, right? You can't question the presidency. If it's Biden, you can't question it because you'll get all the libtards coming at you. If it's Trump, you can't question it because you get all the conservatives coming at you. But the funny thing is that neither one of those presidents have done a fucking thing that's real positive. Like, it's just, but you can't say it out loud because then you'll lose all your friends. You know what I mean? Or you lose your following, like we talked about earlier. You know, and I broke that down in a video not too long, or in a show not too long ago. It's just, it's getting exhausting just watching people, and maybe it was a video on my content. Anyway, I said it's getting exhausting just watching people prop the system up. Out of one side of your mouth, you're bitching about the system fucking all the American people, but then you're not doing anything. And what you said earlier, I loved it. You're just talking about what you don't like, but you're not, or you're saying what you don't like, but you're not talking about it. You know, you're just,
you'll bitch about it in the comments, but you ain't saying shit about it out loud.
Yeah, let's lay the problem out. Let's talk about the fucking thing. And you know, when you try to do that, they're like, oh, well,
bro, they don't want to because they know that their wee little minds will be absolutely fucking blown if they really actually took the time and started doing the research and the digging and figuring shits we've been lied to about. We like 9/11 and shit. Like, people would lose their ever loving fucking minds. We gave ourselves that. We paid for that.
Yeah. Just like we've paid for every other fucking war on history, you know.
George Bush said, there you go. Please. But make sure my money hits my bank account first.
Yeah.
Hence why George Bush wasn't able to leave the United States after his presidency. And still can.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I like. That's what I love about Colton, man. Colton's one of those ones where, and I think a lot of our, you know, we've got a handful of mutual acquaintances, mutual friends between us, and I think a lot of them that are really hard on the right side are really waking up very hard. I think a few of them are they're having a difficult time with it. I mean, I'll be honest with you, but Colton the one thing I love about him is that he's open and honest. He's like, hey dudes, I'm just trying to figure this shit out, but I feel like my whole life's been a lie. So I don't like that. And now I want to dig into why and what I can do. And he's actually taking an active role. Anybody that doesn't know who we're talking about, Colton is Conservative Willie. Go find him. He's one of our best friends. Yeah, he's one of our best friends. I literally talk to the dude every day. I love that dude with all my heart. But he's one of those people that's not afraid to set the example. And he's doing it for young people. The dude's only 27 or 20, maybe 28 now. But he's setting that example of what it's like to be a completely adult person. And you've now learned new information. And instead of doing what everybody else does, just mental gymnastics to make what I already believe still be right, he's going through it and he's showing other people and he's talking to other people about how this is the process. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have your opinions. And then when you learn new information that flies directly in the face of those opinions, you're supposed to reassess your opinions. And
absolutely.
It's one of the things I love about him the most. And I think everybody should be taking lessons from that dude.
Yeah.
I agree completely.
Colton's a good dude, man. Really good dude.
So if we had the PettyCrocker end all be all 3 things that you believe would really turn this country around before we wrap this up, what do you think those 3 things in your mind, what you would implement if you had the power? You were the king, you were the queen, nobody could say no. This is the 3 things we're doing.
Oh, I would dismantle the whole system. Like I said before.
Yes.
That would be the first place I would start at, is dismantling the whole system, taking it back and giving it back to we the people, where it says where our forefathers said, we are not to be governed like this. So take it back all the way. I'm not even saying we have to start over. I'm just saying take it back.
Right.
I don't know if I want to start over. We've already seen what it does. Fuck that shit. I'm good.
Yeah. Starting over involves war, and I'm not into sending my kids to fucking war on their own soil.
No. And you know, what's another thing I would do? Honest to God, I would put the Bible. I would bring it back, bring back, you know, our core values, what this country started on. Not saying that that's, you know, what it has across the board, but, you know, bring back that those morals and values, you know, the family nucleus, you know, having kids, getting married, the American dream. That's all I heard about growing up, is living the American dream. And, you know, in a not, you know, chase money kind of thing, right. But like I said, buy a house, have a family, raise kids, you know, just be a productive citizen in this country.
Yeah.
Give to it, nourish it, add to it, be successful. So that, and oh shit.
I would say I agree with you on the Bible
asylums.
Thing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I agree there too. Lock these fucking mental monkeys up.
Can I just have that jacket on and go in there in the room just for like a week or so? Just
I'll go pet the wall.
I don't think I'll pet the wall. It's like, oh, what's that movie? You got to stroke the furry wall.
I used to be a little bit more violent, believe it or not. So I got to wear one of those funny looking white jackets once because I attacked somebody I shouldn't have attacked. So they put me in one of them fucking things. It's really incredible how fucking tightly those things fit. They go right up through your crotch. Like, you ain't getting out of that. Lethal Weapon and Mel Gibson, you are fucking lying to us.
No, Hollywood's not real. Liars.
But I would say, just to touch on what you said about the Bible, like it or not, whether you're a Christian or you're not a Christian, life was better in America when the Christian moral compass was in place. Because it really did teach you just what you said, family values. And if you can have family values and honor those values as a human, you're overall better for society in and of itself.
I mean, where can you fail at that? You know, I mean, you're not being selfish. You're not being, you know, so consumed with yourself that you're giving of yourself. With that kind of mentality and that kind of way of life, you flourish.
Yeah.
But because like we were talking about earlier, when you focus on just you and yourself and you have, you know, nobody else matters and you're chasing that what you think is that dream, you wind up being miserable and there's no success. It's just paperweights.
Yep.
So let's take it back to the roots. Not saying that that's, you know, not being like, you know, a governing religion or anything, but the Bible does give you a good structure of just how to be a good human being. Right. And the 10 Commandments, follow the laws of man, you know, of the 10 Commandments, where don't kill, you know, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. If we lived by that, we wouldn't, and we implemented that, we wouldn't have this chaos and this destruction and just this evilness that's going around in this world. And not saying that everybody has the same thought process. You just, what am I trying to say? When you care about more than just yourself, no matter, you know, what else you believe in, you still can be a productive person in society and be able to be successful.
Yeah. Well, and the plain and simple truth is that if you were to just take the laws of the Bible and you did live by them, you know, be humble, be all that kind of shit, you wouldn't live a bad life. Like that's just the truth of it, is like if you just implemented all the rules and lived by the Bible's word and Jesus's word and all this other stuff, it's not going to lead you down a bad road. Like it's going to be a pretty fulfilling road. So, you know,
it would be, but I mean, I just wish we could go back to how, I mean, even when I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, bro, it still wasn't a bad time to
No.
live.
No.
Family was still a thing. I mean, not everybody had the perfect family, but
Right.
It seems like we also had teachers back then that cared more.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Wasn't about the
You know what I
paycheck
mean?
then. Yep.
Yeah, like that. It was older people that were our teachers, and that had lived a life and given back to society, and they wanted to see kids be nurtured and flourish and everything. And now it's you getting these young kids coming out of college, fresh out of indoctrination, coming in and immediately spewing it into your kids. Whereas when we grew up, we had, somebody's meemaw being our math teacher, slapping us with the fucking ruler because we wouldn't shut up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's another thing. Bring back discipline.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Bro, when we started doing the whole soft hand shit, I remember getting beaten in school. We used to get paddled in school when I was in there. And, I'm granted my aunt was the vice principal and she would
beat the fuck out of you.
Oh, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like the respect thing. I don't know about you, but down in the South, Lord have mercy, if we didn't say yes, ma'am, no, sir, yes, sir, whatever like that, we were getting our hind ends fucking chewed down here because it's the respect of your elders.
Right.
No kids nowadays, unless, you raise your kids to be that way, but majority of kids now, they'll go beat up Meemaw because they saw it on GTA and it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, when I was growing up, it was, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. That was it,
Yeah, and people like I've been yelled at, or I've had a Karen talk to me before when my kids were younger, and I was, they would say yeah, and I would say excuse me, and they would say yes, ma'am, and you'd have some Karen go, "That's ridiculous. You make your kids say that," and I'm like, what? Respect, showing respect. It's bad for me to teach my kids to show somebody older than respect.
Right. Yeah. Isn't
so
it
you
weird?
Want my child to look at you and say, fuck you, bitch? Like,
well, and the other thing is, it's like, don't you realize, like, as I've raised two very respectful children of myself, and not alone, but myself. But anyway,
right.
The way I raise them is to be respectful, productive members of society, not slave drones to the system, but responsible adults. And they have a respect for their elders. And in same kind of situation, somebody was telling me one day, like, I can't believe you'd fucking talk to your kids like that. You'd expect that out of them, is what he said. And I was like, when they're older, they will get the same treatment. That's when they get their respect. If you know what,
sure.
If you want to tell me that I'm not respecting the fuck out of my children, fine. They will earn their respect when they are older. Right now it's lifetime, and I think the world would be a lot better if we had more people that started speaking later in life. After life really fucked the idealism out of them, then they start talking, because then they're coming from a place of wisdom and experience. This is the world we live in. It's not the world we should live in. It is the world we do live in. And this is how we've got to operate. But like I said the other day, I saw a 17-year-old life coach the other fucking day. What are you going to tell an adult that is going to help anybody? And what are you going to tell a child, even one of your own age, that's going to benefit them having not lived at all at any point? Like, it's ridiculous.
Like, there's some of us that had to grow up at a young age, me being one of them. My husband's another one of them. I had some very horrific things that happened when I was young teenager, like losing my dad and just other stuff that's happened through my life over the years that has caused me to be this way, to be a little hardened. But I will tell you, throughout all of this, I've never lost my core values of respecting other people. Show people respect until they disrespect you, and then all right, bet.
Yeah.
We'll go there. Right. But I'm not going to come off the rip to somebody, like, say I'm out at Walmart and stuff. Look, I'll smile at you. I'll be sweet as I can to you. regardless of your skin color, of how you're dressed, of what, who you are. I have been out in public and see trans people before, but guess what? I'm not going to just immediately come off the rip and be like,
Right.
Until you do something to me, I will show you that kindness and that respect. But the moment you pop off and you want to come at me sideways, bet we will play that game. But until then, what do I have to gain being an asshole to you right off the rip?
Right.
Besides teaching my kids some bullshit. And another thing, I tell people all the time, I'm not my kids' friend. I am their mother. Until the day they are moved out of the house and they are taking care of themselves, we can be friends then, because you're paying your own damn bills and you're providing for yourself and you're an adult. But until that point happens, it's my job to raise you to be a very successful, productive citizen in this country.
Yep. Well, I think that's another part of the American system that has really done a disservice to the American society. Is we have at some point made it socially acceptable for unoffered commentary on other people's parenting. Now, I understand if you're standing in line at the grocery store and some guy just starts grounding and pounding an 8-year-old.
Oh, well,
say some shit, step up. But if he says you will address me as sir, shut the fuck up. This ain't your fight.
Yep.
None of my business, not my monkey, not my circus.
Right.
But like you said, unless the only time like you said, anytime I'd ever stepped in is if I saw somebody just being blatantly just
abusive.
Yeah. Because I've seen that. I've seen that in my life. Thankfully, not my immediate life, but I have seen it.
Right.
But I'm not going to sit there and correct somebody else who's just trying to be a good parent.
Right.
Regardless if they may be a little too stern or whatever. Not my place to say shit. Do you, boo-boo, raise your kids.
Well, people will come to me, like they'll meet my kids and my kids are, again, like I don't know what I did to deserve these kids, but they're hugely respectful. They're honorable. They speak well and eloquently. They act like adults when they're in the presence of adults. People ask me like, well, what did you do?
I was their parent.
I parented them. Like that's all. I didn't try to be their friend or their pal. I didn't try to, make them feel like everything was going to be okay if it wasn't going to be okay. Like if you fucked up, I told you fucked up, like I just parented them. And when you say I just parented them, the look on people's face is like, well, what the fuck does that even mean? Like that's the problem.
Like there's my daughter, my oldest, she was talking to me. She was frustrated because one of her friends was being a little soft and sensitive about some just completely asinine. And it was really pissing my daughter off. She was like, why is she being like this? And I was like, well, sweetheart, because you were raised differently than she was. Obviously, she was raised with a gentle hand and a soft mouth. You were not raised that way. When you were wrong, you were told you were wrong. And you got consequences for being wrong. And, she also had to go through some stuff in her life with her dad that made her have to be a hardened person a little bit and be where she just doesn't take shit off of nobody because she has lived with a narcissist and somebody who gaslights and all that shit. So she's not going to put it up with nobody else. And I've always taught my kids, be real in what you say and mean what you say. And if you're whatever you're going to say, you better stand 100% behind what you're about to say. Right. But also be factual in whatever you're about to say and don't carry a lot of emotion into what there can be a little bit, but you need to have enough forethought and the logical thinking and critical thinking and say what you mean. Don't always put emotion into it because that just spirals into what you see now with these retarded people running around. It's nothing but emotional fed and driven.
Yep. That is where I think we're going to wrap this thing up because that is an extremely poignant thought statement. PettyCrocker, Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
This was an amazing show. And what I love about these shows that I get to do with everybody and we get to do, I'm so used to saying me because I've run the show alone for so long. Dave's finally he's just now coming on as a permanent co-host. I'm trying to get used to saying we. Sorry, Viking boy. What I love so much about having these longer form conversations rather than just basing opinions on content on the internet is you get to actually see what make people tick. And we find every single time we have a conversation with somebody, doesn't matter who it is, we always find somebody worth talking to, worth listening to, and worth having more, having their words be heard on a broader scale, because there's so much behind the eyes, so much behind the heart of all of these people out here. And we're all, I believe truly, you, me, Dave, we're all just normal people. Even Huckleberry and Ant and everybody, all of these men, all of these women say, we're just normal people. We just say some things that people agree with and we get a following on it. But I would encourage all of the listeners to, if you have an opinion about a creator out there on the internet, find them on a podcast. Get them in a conversation. See if you reach out, see if they'll even have a conversation with you. Most creators will. As long as you don't come at them with some bullshit, they'll have a conversation with you. And you will find out that there is always much more to be seen.
Absolutely.
Before we get to my Hopelessly Human segment, can you tell everybody where they can find you, Miss PettyCrocker?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X.
PettyCrocker88.
PettyCrocker88 on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and Puddin, Puddin on X.
Oh, honey pudding. Tell them where they can find you, Dave.
Y'all can find me on social media, Instagram and Facebook at The Hammer Drops. Also YouTube at The Hammer Drops, TikTok as well. And if you ever want to get a hold of me, the best way to do that is just email me at david@thehammerdrops.com. I get so many in the DMs, it's so hard to get through them all.
And last but certainly not least, if you want to help me out, get these words out, get these truths out, you can follow me at Savagely Loud on Instagram is where I'm most active. On that page, you're going to find two links. One of those links is the Savagely Loud podcast page. If you could please follow me there too, it'd be greatly appreciated. The other link you're going to find, simple link tree. Anywhere you want to hear my bullshit or see my rants, you can find it there, easy peasy. Outside of that, Facebook, X, and Rumble at Savagely Loud, YouTube, Savagely Loud Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, and you can email me in at savagelyloudgmail.com, which I strongly suggest you do if you want to guarantee that I see your communication. Don't forget to like, comment, share the material. Don't forget to rate and review the show. Absolutely does help us out. Thank you in advance for all of that. Thank you so much for being on the show, Petty I truly appreciate getting to know you, getting your fans to know deeper levels of you, and my fans as well, to whether introduce or get to know you better. I truly appreciate you being on the show, and hopefully we can have you back sometime soon.
Anytime, bro. Anytime.
And, with all that being said, we get down into the sticky wickets of shit. We don't want to walk away all ramped and amped. So let's remind ourselves that humanity still exists with a little segment I like to call Hopelessly Human. It starts a little bit like...
People can be really rough. They can be quite tough. They can get in the way, but at the end of the day, some aren't only stupid, some are hopelessly human.
Yes, they are. And today's Hopelessly Human comes to you from RD.com, titled 7 Miles for Me. Leaving a store, I returned to my car only to find that I had locked my keys and my cell phone inside. A teenager riding his bike saw me kick the tire and say a few choice words. "What's wrong?" he asked as he approached. I explained my situation. "But even if I could call my wife," I said, "she can't bring me her car key since this is our only car." He handed me his cell phone. Call your wife and tell her I'm coming to get her key. And I replied, "That's 7 miles round trip." The kid says, "Don't worry about it." An hour later, he returned with my key. I offered him some money, but he refused. "Let's just say I needed the exercise," he said. Then, like a cowboy in the movies, he rode off into the sunset. And that comes from Clarence Stevens of Nicholasville, Kentucky. So a little Southern action for you. That's it'll warm you up down there. So, guys,
That's sweet.
We could all take a lesson. do something nice for somebody. That's Hopelessly Human. And that's the show. Later, guys.